Better Fitness Business Summit 11 with good friend and colleague Rick Kaselj, exercisesforinjuries.com. Fellow Canadian, good to see us here. We had to come out and enjoy the California weather. Rick is, maybe you can just explain what you do better than I can introduce you.
So what I am is I'm a personal trainer, and I focus on designing exercise programs for people with injuries. So what happened was there was a lot of personal trainers that would take the people that wanted fat loss, but a lot of them couldn't start their fat loss programs because they ended up having like knee or back or shoulder problems. So I would end up getting them, fixing them up, and then getting them on to their fat loss programs.
Right. And what I wanted to talk to Rick about is, I know a lot of my clients, my online clients, ladies on the blog, some of my boot campers experience knee pain. And so their first inclination is, I can't squat, I can't lunge. And I would like you to address that so they don't just hear it from me. Another expert, please.
I mean, it's important to do the squat and the lunge. It's one of those core movements. And a lot of times when it comes to females, what they want is toned legs, and it's important to work on the squat and the lunge. Things that you can do to kind of modify to kind of eliminate the pain or get rid of the pain, you can squat down to the level that you feel comfortable at, because if you keep going into a point that's irritating, it's just going to lead to more and more pain.
Exactly.
You can, a lot of times you can look into the flexibility side. So if you're tight when it comes to the quads, when it comes to the hips, what ends up happening is the patella or the floaty bone or the kneecap presses up against the knee because your quads and hip flexors are tight, and that ends up leading to more pain when it comes to the squat and the lunge. So taking some time to stretch and foam roll out those areas will decrease the knee pain. Other things that you can end up doing is you might take a break from the front lunge and maybe move into like a back lunge. That ends up decreasing, a back lunge, a reverse lunge.
Yeah, and I really encourage that because a lot of people just push off the toe and then they get that knee extended over top of the toe anyway. So if you're doing the reverse lunge, you're pushing off the heel, tends to hit the hamstring, and tends to work to alleviate knee pain as well.
Yes.
I think the biggest thing is that you know, people think that if I just don't do it, I'll get better, but they actually tend to get worse. Like, you need to strengthen through the quads.
Yeah, it ends up being this vicious cycle when it comes to pain. And a real good example is, let's say people that have arthritis in their knees, well, they end up walking lots and it leads to pain, so they walk less, and they end up walking less, so they end up losing muscle tone, and then they end up increasing their weight, and then
more weight on the joint,
more weight on the joint, more pain, so it ends up being this vicious cycle. So a lot of times it's kind of stepping back and looking to see what you can tweak, like your technique, or work on your flexibility, work on loosening up your muscles. Those are usually the number one things, but it's important to still squat and lunge.
Well, and one other tip I have for my ladies that train at home is a mirror.
Yes.
Because when you look at my videos and my pictures on exercise form, you might think, oh, I'm doing it perfectly well. And if you don't have a trainer right there with you, a full-length mirror is really helpful. Am I sitting my bum back? Are my knees going over top of my toes? And that helps you to kind of stay on, you know, correct yourself as well. And so you want to do those unloaded, and then you know, master your form unloaded in a mirror, and then, and I mean that weight free, and then you can load it up.
Yes.
So I guess we better get back in there. We've been enjoying the sun out here in California, so thank you so much, Rick.
No problem.
I'm sure we'll have expert Rick back for other body parts that we're gonna learn about.